Behold the ultimate life form, Doomsday! Hey, what's happening, gamers? I'm Kwing, and welcome to our Let's Play channel. Today we're looking at Doomsday, because you requested it. Now, his character icon is located in the Hall of Doom, or the Legion of Doom. It will cost you 1.250 million studs. Doomsday is a big fig, in case you hadn't figured that out. He has super strength, fire and goo resistant, and has quick healing abilities. That's about it. Can't fly or do any of that other cool stuff. Now, Doomsday's first appearance was in Superman, Man of Steel number 17, 1992. He would later go on to kill the Man of Steel in January of 1993. I still remember it like it was yesterday, folks. The media made a pretty big deal about the death of Superman. Every single DC character, too, wore one of those Superman armband memorial things, too. Even Batman. I still have some comics with Batman and Robin wearing the armbands. You could also buy one yourself at your local comic book store. I still have the Funeral for a Friend poster, too, but it's pretty banged up and tore, but it's still pretty cool. Anyway, his origins were first revealed in Doomsday Year 1, 1995. To date, it is the only comic that is about, stars, and features, well, Doomsday. So his origins go like this. He lived on ancient Krypton 200,000 years before Superman was born. So Doomsday is like an evil senior citizen. I mean, seriously, the guy's all bones. Somebody get him a doctor. Anyway, some evil, crazy science guy created the first humanoid on the planet, and that baby was Doomsday, but it couldn't survive the planet's harsh environment, and it passed away. Using the infant's bones, the alien scientists kept repeating the process through trial and error over the next 100 years. Talk about inhumane! Dr. Frankenstein has nothing on this freak, he's just cruel. Eventually, the ultimate being, as the alien called Doomsday, was able to survive the planet's volcanic atmosphere. Instead of food, though, he was able to feast on whatever solar energy he could find. Though sadly, he would still be destroyed numerous times by the prehistoric creatures that roamed Krypton at that time. Eventually coming to hate all life. I mean, seriously, how many times has this guy died? He's passed away more times than Phil Connors in Groundhog's Day. But that's besides the point. After another trial and error creation session, the Ultimate hunted down the beast that slew him. After he disposed of the creatures, Doomsday finally killed the alien who's been torturing him for centuries. It took him long enough, didn't it? Well, he still hasn't developed a brain. The Ultimate then escapes Krypton by hitching a ride on a resupply ship from the scientist's home world. He then begins annihilating every planet he comes across. Eventually, he runs into Darkseid too for the first time and crashes his wedding on some distant planet. Did you know that the ruler of Apocalypse is not able to defeat or even touch the creature, and watches helplessly like a little baby as his bride-to-be's world is torn asunder? With the planet doomed before it explodes, Darkseid flees, which is not something he normally does. Doomsday then hitches a ride on another spaceship before the planet is doomed. He destroys another planet, and then another, and another, and he continues doing this cycle for years. Eventually, the Green Lantern Corps takes notice and attacks the Ultimate. He easily wipes out over 100 lanterns and feeds on the Power Ring's energy. He next travels to Oa, and he would have destroyed the planet if not for the brave sacrifice of a Guardian, whose demise actually rips a hole in the fabric of space and time. So after being sucked into that, rip or fissure in space, he lands on another world and continues his destruction, leveling civilization after civilization. After a being known as Radiant finally defeats the creature, he places him inside like this metal casket thing, followed by throwing him into the darkness of space. His grave eventually lands on Earth, driving the creature deep underground, where he remains until, the death of Superman arc. After waking up in the Midwest, Doomsday continues his war on life, though he's kind of strapped to his burial thing and only has one hand free. Still, it's enough for him to take out the entire Justice League with just one hand, folks. He's pretty strong. Then, of course, our yellow sun is fueling the guy more than Superboy Prime, so yeah, scary stuff. Superman arrives on the scene and accidentally frees Doomsday from his burial cables. That's a facepalm moment. Doomsday then thanks him by laying waste to Metropolis and later killing Superman. Though it actually takes him several comics to do it. It's not like Superman falls in one comic. They start fighting in November, and then Superman lasts till January of 1993. With Superman out of the way and Doomsday only KO'd, this led into the reign of Superman, which I talked about before in Connor and Cyborg Superman's lore videos. After Cyborg Superman places Doomsday on the dark side of an asteroid and has him, hurtling through space for eternity, he doesn't show up again until round 2 on Darkseid's home turf, which is like several years later. Doomsday, as you know, is destroying the planet Apocalypse, and Cyborg Superman has been remade and is causing ish for Superman. Superman and Darkseid actually combined their efforts, but they still couldn't defeat Doomsday, because he's now even stronger. Clark has this idea to use boom tubes and sends Doomsday back to the planet that he was defeated on and imprisoned. He then follows Doomsday to finish the job, knowing what will happen if he fails again. The champion Radiant, who's still on the planet and it's gotta be like really old, he can't beat Doomsday anymore, even with Superman's assistance. With no other options, Superman traps Doomsday at the end of time, using some type of gadget that he got from a time traveler. Makes sense. But guess what? He comes back thanks to Brainiac in Doomsday Wars. So Brainiac basically retrieves the creature from the end of time because he has nothing better to do. He then tries to merge with the beast, but it doesn't go too well for him. So he devises another plan. On Earth, he attacks Clark Kent's ex, Lana Lang, and steals her newborn baby. He then does some alien stuff and connects him to Doomsday, giving him a brain. The only problem is he gave the creature the mind of an infant. So Superman can easily beat Doomsday now, and he frees the little kid, gives him back to Lana, After this, Superman is really ticked at Doomsday and Brainiac after he disassembles Brainiac and gets all Conan on him, I guess you could say. Superman brings Doomsday to the moon and places him between 4 Justice League teleporters, so that he will be trapped forever, unable to free himself as parts of his body are being sent to various parts of the galaxy and back, causing the creature immense pain in his joints for all eternity. That is screwed up, Superman. I am in pain just thinking about it. Though, eventually, because, I guess there's no way to fully trap the creature, he gets freed by an alien suicide squad to battle Imperiex during Our Worlds at War, which is a comic arc. What's interesting about this book is it's the closest thing that Superman ever gets to teaming up with Doomsday to stop Imperiex. Unfortunately for Doomsday, he's finally killed by Imperiex, which reduces him to just a glowing skeleton. A couple years later, he's revived by DC Comics and Lex Luthor using Clark's DNA. And the Joker does something, gives him a charming personality, I don't know. Also, Lex gives Doomsday back to Darkseid as a trophy as part of some type of deal to leave the world alone or something. While on Apocalypse, Doomsday learns finally how to think for himself, not knowing that Darkseid has stole his DNA and is creating an army of clones based on him. It's not really mentioned how, but Doomsday makes it back to Earth and wants to kill Lex Luthor, who deems him responsible for his defeat by Imperiex. Being able to think and feel for himself now is actually a weakness for the creature. While a sentient being now, he is able to feel pain for the first time. In his rematch with Superman on the anniversary of the day he killed him, and literally 100 issues later in the Superman comics, Superman is finally superior to Doomsday. The entire world watches in awe as Doomsday's defeated badly. And for the first time since its creation, Doomsday experiences fear. Not long after this, because the writers were bored, Darkseid invades Earth with Doomsday clones. He has like a whole army of them, though they aren't as perfect and strong as the original. Batman, Wonder Woman, Kara, and Superman easily wipe out the clones while successfully protecting Paradise Island on Themyscira. Back on Darkseid's turf, though, the original Doomsday is freed, and he's beaten by the Justice League pretty badly. He then wanders the planet's barren side for years, thinking about his mistakes and, all the things that he can feel now, because Doomsday has feeling. Somehow he makes it back to Earth and he's learned more emotions like love, compassion, and kindness. So he becomes like a cuddly puppy, except, with bones all over him. He even saves Superman from a being known as Gog. But he loses his intelligence because of this fight, rendering him a mindless beast once again. During Infinite Crisis, he attacks Metropolis again, because the writers are like, we just need a big scary guy to destroy Metropolis. I nominate Doomsday! He also appears with some other bad guys, but he's swiftly defeated by 2 Supermen this time. Golden Age Superman, who has, grayish hair, and pre-52 Clark Kent. He shows up on the moon and is beaten by the Superman family and the entire city of Kandor, which is that tiny bottled Superman city, New Krypton, whatever. What's left of him is sent to Star Labs because of reasons. A new threat arrives in the reign of Doomsday Comics, where he's able to steal the hero's powers, kind of like that android Amazo, which appeared in the Justice League. He's actually defeated by the Superman family, and it's pretty quick. And a new Doomsday, which is a superior clone, merges with Hank Henshaw to threaten Earth as Doomslayer, which is like this super intelligent being that's actually planned on using Doomsday's clones to raid Earth's core, thus creating a chain effect that would like wipe out all life on Earth. As a second plan, he also decides to ram his spaceship into the Earth, which will cause dust to block out the sun for years, weakening the super family's powers, because, you know, they're like solar batteries. He even kills the Eradicator, but eventually loses anyway, being trapped in some type of phantom zone or volcano or something for all eternity. They never really explain it, but Cyborg Doomsday never comes back. Now, in the New 52, Doomsday actually fought Zod on Krypton and was defeated by him and sent into the Phantom Zone, where he literally stays there like for centuries. Eventually he gets out and hides out in the Arctic on Earth. He breaks Wonder Woman's arm and a couple of ribs, then hides somewhere waiting for the chance to kill the last knight of Krypton, who will die fighting the Ultimate Being, aka Doomsday. Just so you know, in the New 52, Superman has not died at all. So there hasn't been the massive battle between Superman and Doomsday in the New 52. It's actually hinted that this could happen, but DC's not saying anything. As for other media, Doomsday has appeared in the Justice League series, where he is somewhat intelligent. He's arrived on Earth to kill Superman because he just hates Kryptonians. Though he runs into the Justice Lord Superman, who quickly lobotomizes Doomsday, rendering him a non-threat. And Lois and the rest of the world are like, what did you do to him? I stopped Doomsday, Lois. Everybody's like, Superman just lobotomized someone. That's not what Superman does. He later reappears in Justice League Unlimited and is part of Cadmus' plan to take out the Justice League. Although he's not a willing participant, he's constantly tortured by Amanda Waller and Dr. Milo Fetch, so that he'll hate Superman and not Cadmus, because Cadmus isn't the one torturing him. Eventually he escapes and deals with his jailers, off-screen of course due to censorship. Also, he regrew a special bone over his brow to prevent Superman from like wiping his mind the same way, so you can't kill Doomsday the same way twice, which actually happens in the comics. The two beings actually clash on a volcanic island, and Batman prevents a kryptonite nuclear missile from killing Superman, saying later how he literally took a bullet for Superman. Doomsday is somehow beaten by Wonder Woman and Superman and cast in a volcano because of reasons I don't really know. Afterwards, Superman and the League, minus Batman, who's like totally, you know, TKO at the moment, they sentence Doomsday to the Phantom Zone, similar to what their Justice Lord counterparts did. And Batman's like, you guys did exactly what the Justice Lords would do. And Clark is like, we're not like them. And Batman's like, uh-huh. So Doomsday made appearances in Smallville and Legion of Superheroes, but I'm not going to talk about those because I didn't really watch that. I know that he was a weaker character in that, though. He kills Superman in Superman Doomsday animated film. He has an army of clones that appear in Superman Batman Apocalypse, which is a really cool movie starring Kevin Conroy. He's been in various video games over the years: Death of Superman on Super Nintendo, Justice League Heroes PS2, and DC Universe Online. Also, he was voiced by Cyborg from Teen Titans in Injustice: Gods Among Us. In his ending, he actually terraforms Earth into its prehistoric state, ending all life as we know it. Then he leaves to find another planet to conquer because he's Doomsday, that's what he does. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's a wrap for Doomsday. Thanks for watching. In the comments section below, tell me who you'd like to see next. As always, don't forget to like, share, favorite, and subscribe, because it helps me out bunches. Well, until we meet again, God bless and happy gaming. I'll be back with another LEGO Batman 3 character spotlight tomorrow. See ya!